If you are a silver stacker today, you have got to be very happy as silver's price has rocketed up to over $36 a troy ounce. An amazing day for the market, and we're going to talk about what happened today and if this is the beginning of a new breakout for silver's price. Let's discuss it all in this video as we explore. An amazing day indeed, and it does provide some validation for those of us who have been saying for a long time that we're going to see silver move up, although I've been a little bit more tepid, but this is one of those situations where it has reached, for the second time now, I have been right in my year-end prediction for silver. I just didn't think it would happen this soon. $36 an ounce. Now, this may be the last time we see it this year. But maybe not. I don't think so. I think we're going to revisit it again soon. Because right now, as the markets are mere moments from closing, silver's price is only 25 cents away from it yet again. Before we get into that too much, I want to remind you of channel sponsor Summit Metals. They have very competitive pricing for silver products out there and are increasing their selection. Check them out. They also carry germanium mint products. So check them out at summitmetals.com. I'm going to be referencing two pieces here about what's going on in the silver market today. CNBC is reporting that we have been seeing silver jump up to a level we've not seen for 13 years. Yes, indeed. That's about the length of time this channel's been in existence. So this is quite exciting indeed. The price of silver moved sharply higher Thursday, and it hit its highest level in more than a decade. Now, the silver futures price, which is different than the spot price, saw silver rise to $36.27 per ounce today, notching the highest price for the metal since early 2012. Silver's futures were last up more than 3% on the day to $35.82. Now, what actual spot price did today was still remarkable nonetheless. $36.14 was the high, according to Kitco, which quotes from TradingView, and that is where it got up to today, up from its low of $34.42. That's a $1.72 difference between the two prices. It has since moderated a bit. It is now $35.75 now, still up well over 3.3% at this moment. That's a $1.15 increase in price right now as the markets close. It doesn't surprise me that we see a slight pullback in the price given what happened earlier today, but still it is up healthy today for sure. What about the other metals? Well, gold has pulled back, believe it or not. It is down $16.30. That's a half a percentage point drop to $3,358.40. The gold to silver ratio now has narrowed to 94.27. But remember, folks, that's still a very, very high gold to silver ratio. Silver has a lot of room to catch up to gold, but remember, I think the days of comparing the two metals really, in a serious way, should be gone. I don't know that we're ever going to see a normal gold to silver ratio again, but I could be wrong there because we could still see a breakout. And there's a couple of factors that are more inclined to see silver continue to move in this direction than not. Part of it is technical analysis, but let's get in back to the article here, see what they're saying. Silver has been a high-performing metal in 2025, and it's now up more than 20% year-to-date. It's still lagging in the move in gold, however, which has jumped about 28% this year. The price of gold was down slightly, meaning silver's rally closed some of the gap between the two. Silver has industrial uses, including solar panels, and is also seen by some investors as a defensive precious metal similar to gold. A recent survey from the Silver Institute estimated that the supply of silver was about 15% lower than demand in 2024. That's projected another deficit in 2025. So that's what we're looking at with silver. And I believe that industrially, that's part of what is backing some of its rise, because demand certainly is there, which means that there is some areas and some cracks in the market that I think we could see silver continue to rise. Again, I have been bullish on silver all year and continue to be, But I don't want to get too crazy with it because I don't necessarily think we're going to see a new breakout form, much like what we had seen up to this level where it is now. There's going to be a lot more resistance to it. If you believe in silver price suppression, well, Friday is coming soon, and that is the big smackdown. And I would not be surprised if we see it fall back into the $34 range. But remember, what I said before, $34 is incredibly important because if we get back to that, that provides a firm foundation from which we could go back up to $35 easy. And another $35 hit could mean that we could be closer to another breakout or an upwards trend. So we'll see how it plays out. But there was such a sharp increase in price today that this consolidation we're seeing late afternoon with some profit taking, and that's exactly what's going on with gold, by the way, is something that we should consider. We're going to see silver be volatile now, but this is exciting to see it move past 36. And I'm going to be discussing a little bit more about this in a video coming this weekend that you're not going to want to miss, how we could see silver climb up much more drastically if a certain thing happens. Stay tuned for that video. Now, we saw it leap in early trading in London, and we saw it go up to $36 an ounce. And copper prices also touched 2-month highs, but crude oil held unchanged at what were 4-year lows when reached in late March, kind of looking at the other commodities here. And Japanese equities fell, but Chinese and European equities edged higher, according to Bullion Vault. The borrowing costs were lower as the European Central Bank cut euro interest rates and expected following weak consumer and now factory gate inflation data. We also had the employment numbers, which were not good, and I think that also contributed as well. Jumping 4.2% from yesterday's LBMA benchmark auction in London, today's silver price is the sharpest one-day gain since the 21st of October 2024, when gold ran to new all-time highs ahead of the U.S. election and silver broke above $34 per ounce for the first time in 12 years. In fact, it didn't quite hit $35. It got to $34.91. I remember it well. Obviously, today we saw it spike much higher than that, and an amazing thing to see silver make that move. And by the way, the dollar index is definitely down, but not down by a whole lot. It's only down slightly to 98.74, which gives silver's move more credence that we're seeing here. It's not reacting based off of the dollar, in other words. Today's surge to the highest silver price since February of 2012 crushed the gold to silver ratio, which we know is a simple measure of the safe haven metal's value in terms of its more industrial useful cousin, squashing it to near 94. But again, remember, that is still very, very high, no question about it. It wasn't that long ago when gold was still fairly high and silver was not a whole lot lower when the ratio was in the 80s. So think about that. It's down 10 ounces of silver from the post-COVID high of more than 100, seen as gold touched its current all-time high of $3,500 in late April. It's also the lowest reading for the gold to silver ratio since the 2nd of April, which is the day that U.S. President Trump announced the Liberation Day tariffs. There's also a rift between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, which has hurt Tesla stocks, and this is very well could be playing a role in some of this overall market activity, and silver could be feeling the brunt of that as well too. But according to Ronna O'Connell on brokerage StoneX, she says no specific reason for silver as far as I can see for the reason for the rise. But given recent underperformance against gold because of economic concerns, it looks to me that there could be some ratio trading going on, that it's dipped below the $100 or the 100 level. Turning higher in August 2022, 1 month earlier than gold prices, silver has now doubled since then in U.S. dollar terms, just lagging gold's 109% move with a rise of 104%. That's pretty amazing for this metal. So it is validation, but you know what? I don't necessarily need silver's price to be high to validate it for what it is for me, because it's a long-term store of wealth. And again, and adjusted for inflation, well, $36 silver is not as impressive as it was, obviously, 13 years ago. No question about it. And really, gold has been that that it has performed when adjusted for inflation. It reached an all-time high even as such. So silver still has a long way to go, but it is a much smaller market, and I'm going to be talking about that more in a coming video. That is something that means that it still has a whole heck of a lot more potential, a massive amount of potential from where it is now. Does that mean it's going to get there? I don't know. We should, in a sense, expect not. The best thing we can do is be realistic about it, but look at the possibility. This move today leaves open that I am more engaged with the possibility and not nearly as dismissive as I was in the past of a real bull run, a second breakout. Because I think, in a sense, we've already seen the first. Could it be essentially sort of a silver squeeze forming in some aspects of the market? Well, that may come out in coming days as to why the price went up. I'm not sure, but we'll see how it plays out. But this is a fascinating move for silver. It is newsworthy, although it's not making as much news in the mainstream press other than CNBC bringing it out. But, they've been known to talk more about gold than silver, but people are starting to take note. And I think when that happens and they see the potential, we may see more buyers in the paper market. But I like the physical. Let's get physical. I love the physical silver, holding it in your hand, knowing you've got something of value. Yes, there is risk in terms of the premiums you pay and what you lose when you go to sell it. But nonetheless, there's something about having some wealth outside of the system, and that's exactly what silver is. By the way, silver mining stocks have also surged as well along with this. That's a very good sign that we will see likely, maybe even a very busy summer. Dare I say it, and that this breakout could occur. We'll find out. By the way, Summit Metals, a channel sponsor, has the Salivate Metal Round available. I don't know how long these are going to be in stock because I've got word from Italio Mint that they're changing how they do things and how they're distributing to dealers, which means that it may be very difficult to get them back in stock. So what may be there available at Summit Metals, which I think is now the only dealer that has them, that may be it. So just word to the wise, a link to purchase is in the description of this video. So I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.